The last recording from room 307. Have you ever walked into a place that felt wrong? Not because it looked dangerous, but because every instinct in your body told you to leave. This story begins in the winter of 1998, on a lonely mountain road where a small hotel stood hidden between endless forests. It wasn't famous. It wasn't luxurious. Most travelers only stayed there for one night before continuing their journey. The hotel had only 27 rooms. But there was one room nobody ever talked about. Room 307. According to old newspaper reports, the room had been permanently locked after a strange incident involving a family of 3. The official report claimed they disappeared without leaving a single trace. No bodies, no luggage, no fingerprints, nothing. The police searched every room, every hallway, even the surrounding forest. It was as if the family had simply stopped existing. The hotel owner refused to answer any questions. Whenever someone asked about room 307, he would quietly reply, "Some doors should remain closed forever." Months later, the hotel itself shut down. The owner vanished. The building was abandoned. Nature slowly swallowed it. Trees grew through broken windows. Rain destroyed the roof. Animals made nests inside the empty hallways. For nearly 30 years, nobody entered the hotel. Until 4 friends decided to prove that every ghost story about the place was fake. Ryan was the leader of the group. He ran a small online channel where he explored abandoned buildings. With him were Jake, Emma, and Noah. They had visited dozens of haunted locations before. None of them believed in ghosts. Everything, they said, had a logical explanation. As they parked their van outside the forgotten hotel, heavy fog rolled across the ground. The building looked even older than the pictures they had found online. Its broken sign still hung above the entrance. Several letters had fallen away. Only one word remained readable. Hotel. The front door opened with almost no effort. As if someone had unlocked it just moments before they arrived. Ryan laughed nervously. "Well, that's already creepy." The others smiled, but nobody answered. Inside, the silence felt unnatural. There was no sound of birds. No wind. No insects. Only the echo of their own footsteps. Dust covered every piece of furniture. Old photographs still hung on the walls. One photograph caught Emma's attention. It showed the hotel exactly as it looked decades ago. Employees smiled proudly in front of the entrance. But in one upstairs window, someone else was standing. A tall figure, watching the camera. The figure wasn't listed among the hotel staff. Emma stared at the picture for several seconds. "Guys." When the others looked, the figure was gone. Only an empty window remained. Jake laughed. "Your imagination is already working." Emma wasn't smiling. Something about that photograph felt horribly wrong. None of them noticed the old security camera mounted above the lobby. Its tiny red light had just turned on. Ryan pointed his flashlight toward the staircase. "Second floor," he whispered. No one argued. Each step groaned beneath their feet as they climbed higher. Dust drifted through the air, glowing in the thin beams of light. The second floor felt colder. Not just a little colder. Freezing. Emma checked the small thermometer attached to her backpack. "That's impossible," she said. "It just dropped from 18 degrees to 6. Jake laughed nervously. "Maybe the windows are broken." But there were no broken windows. The hallway was completely sealed. At the end of the corridor stood a faded wooden door. The brass numbers were still attached. 307. Ryan slowly walked toward it. The closer they got, the quieter everything became. Even their footsteps seemed to disappear. No echoes, no breathing, nothing. Noah reached for the doorknob. Locked. Ryan smiled. "I brought something for that." A few seconds later, the old lock clicked open. The door slowly swung inward. The room looked untouched. A dusty bed, a wooden chair, a cracked mirror, an old radio sitting beside the bed, and on a small table, a cassette recorder. Unlike everything else in the room, it looked almost new. Emma frowned. How can that still be here? Ryan picked it up. There was a single label attached to the cassette. Do not play after midnight. Jake laughed. That's definitely fake. Ryan looked at his watch. 11:58 p.m. 2 minutes left. No one spoke. The silence inside the room felt heavier every second. Tick, tick, tick. Midnight. Ryan pressed the play button. For nearly 20 seconds. Nothing. Only static. Then, a man's voice. Weak. Shaking. If someone finds this, don't let it hear you. The four friends looked at each other. The recording continued. It watches anyone who enters this room. It doesn't kill you. It replaces you. Jake forced a smile. Nice horror recording. Then, 3 slow knocks echoed from the other side of the door. Knock, knock, knock. Everyone froze. Ryan quickly opened the door. The hallway was empty. No footsteps. No movement. No sound. He slowly closed it again. The tape kept playing. You already opened the door. It's too late now. Emma stepped backward. Ryan. He turned toward her. She was staring into the cracked mirror. His reflection wasn't moving. Ryan slowly raised his hand. The reflection kept staring forward. Jake looked into the mirror too. His face turned pale. Guys, that's not us. Then, every flashlight went out at the exact same moment. Darkness swallowed the room. Only one sound remained. Breathing. Not one person breathing. 5. Nobody moved. The darkness was absolute. Ryan could hear his own heartbeat pounding in his ears. Then he counted again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was definitely someone else inside the room. A cold voice suddenly whispered from somewhere behind them. Don't look at me, Emma screamed. At that exact moment, every flashlight flickered back to life. The room was empty, or at least, it looked empty. Noah slowly turned toward the mirror. This time, all 4 reflections were moving normally. Jake let out a nervous laugh. See, we're just freaking ourselves out. Before anyone could answer, the cassette recorder clicked by itself. A new voice began speaking. It wasn't the frightened man from before. It was Ryan's voice. Exactly Ryan's voice. If you're hearing this, we've already failed. Ryan's face turned white. I never recorded that. The recording continued. Don't trust the one standing behind Emma. Everyone immediately looked toward Emma. She was standing alone. Confused. What are you looking at? Jake whispered, there's nobody behind you. Emma slowly turned around. Nothing. She looked back at the others. Their expressions had changed. Fear. Pure fear. Ryan raised his flashlight. Behind Emma. For less than a second. A tall black figure appeared. Its body was unnaturally thin. Its arms almost touched the floor. Its face had no eyes. Only a wide smile stretching from one side of its face to the other. The light flickered. The figure disappeared. Emma collapsed onto the floor, crying. We have to leave. Nobody disagreed. Ryan grabbed the recorder. The 4 friends rushed toward the hallway. But room 307 was gone. The door behind them no longer had a number. The hallway was different. Longer. Darker. The wallpaper had changed. The windows they had passed only minutes earlier had disappeared. Jake pulled out the map of the hotel. This can't be right. According to the map, there was no hallway beyond room 307. It should have ended at the staircase. Instead, the corridor stretched endlessly into darkness. Then came the sound. Footsteps. Slow, heavy, coming toward them. Step, step, step. Ryan pointed his flashlight down the hallway. At first, nothing. Then, a silhouette, standing perfectly still, watching them. The light shook in Ryan's hand. The silhouette slowly raised one arm and waved. Noah whispered, "That's me." The others stared at him. The figure at the end of the hallway looked exactly like Noah. Same clothes, same face, same backpack, except it was smiling. Noah wasn't. Noah couldn't take his eyes off the figure. It looked exactly like him. Every detail was perfect. The same jacket, the same muddy boots, even the small scratch on his left cheek. The only difference, its smile never moved. Ryan grabbed Noah's arm. "Don't go near it," but it was too late. The copy slowly whispered, "Help me." Its voice was Noah's. Noah took one step forward, then another. The figure copied every movement. The hallway suddenly began to shake. The walls cracked. The lights exploded one by one. Emma screamed, "Run!" The four friends sprinted through the endless corridor. Behind them came the sound of footsteps. Not 4, not 5, dozens. Something was chasing them. Every hotel room they passed had its door wide open. Inside each room, someone was standing in the darkness, watching. None of them moved. They only smiled. Ryan finally spotted the staircase. There, the group rushed downstairs. The front entrance was only a few meters away. Freedom. Ryan threw himself against the front door. It didn't move. Again, nothing. The hotel wouldn't let them leave. Then the cassette recorder switched on by itself one last time. The same frightened man's voice returned. "There is only one way out. It only needs one of you." Silence filled the lobby. No one spoke. No one even breathed. Then Noah slowly stepped backward. What if it already chose? The lights went out. When they came back, Noah was gone. Only his backpack remained on the floor. The front door unlocked with a loud click. Ryan, Emma, and Jake ran into the freezing night without looking back. None of them ever returned. Police searched the abandoned hotel the next morning. They found no sign of Noah. Only an old cassette recorder lying in the middle of room 307. Inside it, a brand new recording. The police pressed play. The tape began with 3 familiar voices. Ryan, Emma, Jake, all of them were screaming. Then came Noah's voice. Calm, cold. "He found us." The recording ended with a sentence no officer could ever explain. "If you're listening to this, we're already standing behind you." The investigation was closed within weeks. The hotel was demolished months later. Today, nothing remains except an empty field. But according to local legend, on quiet nights, people still hear 3 slow knocks, coming from a room that no longer exists.